Navinian society is divided into 3 levels, and its people also have their strict places in society. At the highest level are the ruling aristocracy. Generation after generation of the nobility have maintained the order and prosperity of Navinia. The middle level is comprised of merchants. The merchants' trade provides substantial funding for Navinia's research into machinery. These merchants also reap the benefits that machinery provides. At the lowest level of Navinia are those like BIRON, the poor. BIRON was a well-known mercenary in Navinia. Whenever his name came up in conversation, people would say, "Oh, that's the fool who challenged the Mecha commander." When he was very young, BIRON scraped together a living through hard labor at the docks. There, he encountered a man named Mr. Polo, who was traveling to the east in search of a way to get access to the curse. Despite the fact that BIRON would not see this kind soul again, or even be able to clearly recall his face, Polo's drive to act in pursuit of his ideals left a lasting impression on BIRON. After he came of age, BIRON became a guard, accompanying groups of merchants all over Sunset. He gradually began to observe changes in Navinia, polluted water, corrosion, and crystallization. These changes struck fear into his heart, and so he began to search for the cause of the pollution. One morning, this search led the lowly mercenary before Milady, the Mecha commander, herself. He presented her with a glimmering piece of crystal. "This is proof of the pollution. Polluted water is pouring from beneath the earth. Rust is corroding the coral reefs, and in the wilds, beasts are turning into crystallized entities. This pollution will doom Navinia." Milady raised an eyebrow upon hearing BIRON's proclamation. She knew BIRON had already deduced the connection between the pollution and the great and wondrous power, but she could not allow him to continue to exposing the truth. With a mighty blast of lightning, she brought BIRON to the ground. While he left the encounter with his life, it came at the cost of one of his hands. In a twist of cruel irony, he was forced to turn to the machinery he so despised to craft a mechanical arm for himself. With it, he wielded his weapon, earning the money he needed to survive. Over time, his true name was lost to time as people remembered only his nickname.
BIRON is a fighter with crowd control and both offense and defense capabilities. His 2 BA ult 1 BA combo can get him close to enemies for crowd control and takedowns. His basic attacks and skills charge up energy that boosts basic attacks and skills. With skill 1, he slashes forward twice to deal damage and recover health. When the skill is charged, damage and recovery are increased. Skill 2 is a forward dash skill that grants enhanced basic attacks. When the skill is charged, enhanced basic attacks also launch enemies. His ultimate grants a shield and deals damage to surrounding enemies. When the ultimate is charged, the shield and damage are increased. In terms of skill learning, he should prioritize his ultimate. If unavailable, he should prioritize skill 1.
Sehebat mana pun, ketakutan kena diatasi. Keberanian adalah kepercayaanku.
Players find that BIRON is easily kited, has weak damage output, and lacks survivability. This guide should help deepen your understanding of him. 1. Easily kited. BIRON has poor mobility and short skill ranges, making him easy to kite in team fights. He relies heavily on flash. 2. Weak damage output. BIRON's damage output is often lacking during mid to late game. It's crucial to capitalize on his strong early game to gain an advantage. 3. Lacks survivability. BIRON's lack of survivability is due to poor timing in initiating fights. Understanding more about hero countering is essential.
Azam untuk berlawan adalah lebih kuat daripada besi.
To play BIRON well, it is essential to know his style and establish the correct match strategy. BIRON's primary damage comes from Skill 1's high damage output and recovery effect. Skill 2 is mainly used to hold enemies back with flexible crowd control. His ultimate is used to resist damage and can work with Skill 1's recovery to absorb lots of damage in team fights. His passive is crucial to his damage output. The more energy BIRON accumulates, the stronger his skills become.
Saya akan koyakkan ruang untuk lebih mencari kebenaran.
Energy accumulation. Byron's energy can be stacked quickly when he hits multiple units with basic attacks. During laning, he can use skill 2 to first go through minions, followed by an enhanced basic attack. Next, he can skill 1 to get 2 additional basic attacks and can quickly fill his energy. Using skill 1. In combat, Byron can use skill 1 sideways to hit distant enemies. Skill 1's movement during use can be used to block or avoid most enemy crowd control. Canceling backswing. The backswing animation for Byron's enhanced basic attack is quite long. Linking skill 1 or his ultimate will cancel the delay, making Byron's damage output smoother.
Mengalah bermaksud kegagalan.
Early game. Byron is very strong at laning in the early game. He can use skill 1 to hit both enemies and minions. His lane advantage lets him lead the rhythm at levels 2 and 4 to suppress rivals. Mid-game. After gaining a laning advantage, Byron can use the short cooldown of its sustained damage and recovery to look for solo kills. If his rival avoids fighting, Byron can support his teammates after laning to create team advantages. Late game. During late game, Byron's initiation heavily relies on timing. He should try to accumulate energy before a team fight, then hide in the shadows and wait for an opportunity. When an enemy carry appears, he can use skill 2 with flash to engage with launch crowd control, then use his ultimate and skill 1 for instant burst damage.
Kepercayaan umum bukan semestinya kebenaran.
Byron can change combos flexibly based on the battle situation.
Rasakan guru!
For entering without any energy, use skill 1 to start, then flash as he charges into the crowd to quickly fill energy. Next, use skill 2 followed by an enhanced basic attack. After launching enemies, use his ultimate with another basic attack to deal maximum damage and slow enemies.
Utamakan yang benar dengan sedaya upaya.
For entering with energy, start with skill 2 and flash to close in on enemies. Then use enhanced basic attack to launch enemies. While they're in the air, use skill 1 to deal maximum damage and trade blows. Finally, use his ultimate to activate a shield and deal finishing damage.
Siapa di sana? Rasakan!
This combo is used for surprise attacks. After using skill 2, use the enhanced basic attack with flash to chase the enemy. Once he's launched the enemy, use skill 1 and his ultimate to deal damage before they can even react.
Mestilah! Inilah lelaki tegap!
In close combat, use skill 2 first, then an enhanced basic attack to launch the enemy. While they are under crowd control, use another basic attack for additional damage. Follow up with skill 1, then another basic attack for further damage. Next, use his ultimate to activate a shield, then finish off with another basic attack to complete the kill.
Boleh tahan juga kerjasama yang baik.
Use skill 2's enhanced basic attack to inflict continuous crowd control on enemies. Start with skill 2, then wait for skill 2 to refresh before using the first enhanced basic attack to control the enemy. Then quickly use skill 2 again with another enhanced basic attack. This will launch the enemy twice. Finish with skill 1 and the ultimate for full damage. This combo requires at least 30% cooldown reduction to pull off.
Hebat! Saya sangat bersemangat sekarang. Kita nak buat apa lagi?
Different team lineups will affect Byron's potential. It is essential to understand which lineups are suited to him. Heroes like Guigutsu and Lian Po with team crowd control skills can form a control chain with Byron, allowing stable bursts of damage and crowd control. Byron can use the summons of enemies like Milady and Agudo to accumulate energy and enhance his skill's damage output. Tanky heroes like Ada and Dune, who also have strong recovery, are difficult for Byron to suppress during laning. Heroes like Lu Bu, Diao Chan, and Marco Polo deal lots of true damage and are very agile. They can stick to Byron and potentially take him down with one skill combo.